Are electronic vehicles really worth it? Take a look at this. Some argue that they are still expensive. Others point to charging infrastructure that isn't yet widespread, but Rohit was just telling us that it's done great. The government has done great on the infrastructure front. Many continue to trust the reliability and convenience of petrol and diesel vehicles. So you have people of all walks of life from all these categories. But what if we've been asking the wrong question all along? Hear me out. What if the biggest reason to move towards electric vehicles isn't fuel savings, isn't climate change, but simply protecting our own health? A new report by the International Council of Clean Transportation, or ICCT, is making exactly that argument, and its findings are difficult to ignore. According to the report, if India successfully transitions to 100% zero-emission vehicle sales by 2045, the country could prevent more than 1.7 million, that's 17 lakh premature deaths by the year 2050. And that's a staggering number in itself. But the report goes even further. It estimates that in 2024 alone, road transport pollution was linked to one premature death every 6 minutes in our country. And every 34 minutes, another child developed asthma linked to pollution from road transport. Think about that for a moment. By the time this segment ends, several more Indian families could have been affected by illnesses associated with transport-related air pollution. The study says emissions from cars, from buses, from trucks and two-wheelers release harmful pollutants like PM2.5, nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide into the air. These pollutants have long been associated with respiratory illnesses, heart disease, strokes, lung disorders and other serious health complications. In other words, this is no longer just an environmental conversation. It is increasingly becoming a public health conversation. And now, here's where the report becomes even more interesting, because researchers have compared two possible futures for India. On the one hand, it's where the country simply continues with its present transport policies and the current pace of electrification. And on the other, much more ambitious pathway where India rapidly accelerates the shift towards electric mobility and achieves 100% zero-emission vehicle sales by 2045. The difference between these two scenarios is remarkable. According to the report, more than 17 lakh premature deaths could be prevented, nearly 97,000 childhood asthma cases could be avoided, and harmful pollutants like PM2.5, nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide could decline dramatically over the next 25 years. Now, the report also zooms in one of the regions that many Indians know all too well for its pollution crisis. No surprise, the Delhi National Capital Region. Despite accounting for only 5% of India's population, the National Capital Region contributes nearly 9% of the country's transport-related premature deaths and almost 23% of childhood asthma cases linked to road transport emissions. Researchers say the combination of dense traffic, high population density and continuous exposure to vehicular emissions makes Delhi one of the country's most vulnerable regions. And now it's important to remember what this report is and what it isn't. It does not suggest that electric vehicles alone can solve India's air pollution problem. No, we're not saying that. Industrial emissions, thermal power plants, construction dust, biomass burning, the list is huge, crop residue. They all remain major contributors to poor air quality. But what the report does argue is that tailpipe emissions from these cars are one of the most controllable sources of urban pollution, and we're not doing enough. And reducing them could deliver measurable health benefits for millions of Indians. So the big questions we leave you with. Can cleaner transport genuinely become one of India's biggest public health interventions? Is our transition to electric mobility moving fast enough? Can India's charging infrastructure and electricity ecosystem support such an ambitious shift? And should the debate around electric vehicles now move beyond economics and convenience and start focusing on something even more fundamental? Mine and your health, our hair, and the lives that could potentially be saved.